Welcome to another episode of Fantasy Football League 2024. I'm taking over this show because my dad says that I could draft a better team than most of you. Bye-bye.
Welcome, 2024, as introduced by my daughter. Welcome, League, and welcome to the Bard. Welcome.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Daphne. That was nice work.
Thank you. Yeah, how are you feeling coming into this season? You're looking like you're a bit sheepish.
What do you mean? This is how I normally dress around the house. It's absolutely nothing to do with like being in hiding after a disgraceful week one performance.
It's fine, Adam. I'm sure you'll bounce back. I'm sure we're going to get lots of positivity in the chat from everyone today.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's my biggest fan now.
He is. He's in his new Kurt is Nice 2024 tour. We're bringing up the usual slides. Here we go. We've seen this one. And let me just start for a second. Got new segments happening here. Why is that not working? There we go. Hang on.
As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to take these off because I can't actually see the screen. Right. I'm actually, by the way, like now that we're doing props, I'm in the market for a powdered wig and a gavel. Is there like a store that you guys go to and get that stuff, or?
I think there is a store. We can probably sort that out.
Yeah, right. Yeah. All right. This is my new segment for season 2024. It is the Commissioner's Tribunal. The gimmick here is that each week I'm going to put something or someone on trial for crimes real or imagined. It could be a member of the league, could be an NFL player, or anybody kind of tangentially connected to fantasy. A few contenders this week that definitely could have been on trial here. Could have Mark Andrews for the crime of fooling fantasy players everywhere into drafting him as an elite tight end one and then standing on the sidelines watching someone else do all the work. Also could have had the cops who arrested Tyreek Hill. How fucking dumb do you have to be a Miami cop and not know you're arresting Tyreek Hill with people standing around videoing you? Actually, when I originally decided to put this in, I was actually going to do you, Chris Kelly, for the crime of harassing a beloved league pastor on his birthday about your stupid belt. But when I said to him, look, I'm going to go on the show and set Chris Kelly on fire over this, he, very much on brand for him, kind of took the high road and said, nah, just let it go. I'll, give him the forgiveness that he doesn't really deserve. So we're going to let that one slide, apparently.
Can I just say, I did feel it was getting a bit heated in the group chat on his birthday, and I left it there and went into DMs with him where we had a discussion, and then I apologized for making it an issue on his birthday. So I think that's probably why he suggested that, just to clear the air.
Actually,
I've stolen your thunder completely.
No. As I said, like you're not on trial this week for that. I'm sure we'll find an excuse to prosecute you in future weeks for indiscretions yet to be committed. Actually on trial this week is the Sleeper app for absolutely shitting the bed in week one and basically doing all of the things that were the reason that we left ESPN, like terrible performance. And our league wasn't the only one that had these issues, right? People all over like fantasy football Reddit were complaining about this, like getting spammed with injury notifications, really, really laggy updates. Like I would go on and it would tell me that like my guys were playing and the game finished 4 hours ago. Just absolutely shit out. And, with ESPN, I guess at least maybe they get a bit of a pass because they're a big company and they do lots of different things, right? Sleeper does one fucking thing. The app is their whole product. Like, how are you not making it work on week one of the NFL season? Really shitful. The fucking results tracker when you go in doesn't know what day it is, and it can't deal with like you being in a different time zone than the US. It's just shit house. So my conceit with this, Chris, is that you being a bit of a lawyer, certainly a bit of a bush lawyer, like if you want to on any given week, you can, act as counsel for the defense and maybe even in a devil's advocate type way, jump in and defend whoever or whatever is on trial, or you can just abstain and hang them out to dry. So do you have anything to say in defense of the appalling performance of the Sleeper app?
I've been using the Sleeper app for longer than some of the league members, having participated in leagues using it before it came over to the platform. And I learned a long time ago that you need to turn off the fucking notifications. So if that was a new lesson for everyone this round, so be it. But they don't often fail miserably like this, but there's too many of them. And I saw there was a bit of league discussion about that. So turning off
also, the app is like, and you also have to turn off all their stupid like gambling promotion that they bloat their app with.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Yeah. If you do a fresh install and you haven't done your settings, like literally every single player underneath them will have like links to go and bet on them on fucking, online gambling, sports books or whatever. Anyway.
Yes, I used to have that and I don't have it anymore. I wonder if I turned it off, or I wonder if it's like a location.
It is a setting you can turn off. Anyway, don't want to label this anymore. Sleeper, you are found guilty in the Commissioner's Tribunal. You're on probation. You better pick up your act, or I'll be spinning the wheel next year and going to another random fantasy platform. Gavel!
Well, because you took the ball, I've decided to steal your bit and do the Kingmaker's quote segment for my segment. And this is where I'll be providing a motivational quote, or that I believe a league member will have said this week, not in the chat, but just in their general lives about our league. It'll be motivational, it'll be positive, and it'll give us a very warm feeling like this music is doing. This week, I've chosen our former commissioner and league champion, Tex Horner, who I believe would have said this, perhaps during his Sunday sermon at the Encounter Church. I don't actually need to find this stupid fucking belt if I just run a train on this league every week. Father Tex.
I'm not sure that he didn't say something very similar to that already.
And that is the Kingmaker's quote for this week.
Love it.
Okay, Aaron.
Nice. You put it to work into this, I can tell.
And the winners and losers we're looking at this week coincidentally played each other, but we're not always going to make that a factor, is James Nunn and Kurt Morgan. Kurt, of course, our winner there. You see he's got the rings on and everything, and James Nunn as our loser. We'll be turning to James's team first. Here is the Coins team for your assessment, Badams.
I mean, I sat here for a while tonight thinking, has any team in this league ever had such a bad week one? I mean, like, obviously losing going 0-2 is like, it's not a huge deal. I mean, there's multiple people in the league, that, including myself, that got their teeth kicked in. But I mean, the injuries, he's just all of a sudden out of nowhere, just in a really, really awful spot with these injuries. Jordan Love out for probably 4 to 6 weeks. Puka, probably even longer. I think there was some concerns about Rome Odunze as well. So he's just had his roster absolutely annihilated in the first engagement of the year, and he can't be feeling good.
And then the rest of the team, Breece Hall obviously is looking good, so that's the one thing he's got. Aaron Rodgers will see better days, I think, than that. And I don't think Devontae Adams is going to be great, but J.K. Dobbins is looking like the real deal over at the Chargers.
Yep.
Though he's not known for being injury-proof himself. So it's a tough start because it's going to be very hard for him to not find himself 0-8, 1-7, just because of these circumstances. I mean, that's very hard to come back from.
What he's got going for him is like just a historically dependable record of going 500. So I feel like he'll find a way.
What he doesn't have going for him is his backup quarterback is Daniel Jones.
Good luck with that.
He threw for 22 of 42 for 186 yards and 2 interceptions.
This is like and Jordan Love not going on IR is kind of low key a bit of a crisis for James because he cannot pick up another quarterback without dropping someone.
Yes, that would have been a great situation. He could have tried even Jacoby Brissett, I think, was sitting there. You could have tried even Malik. What's his name? Malik Willis. I don't know if you'd feel good about it, but if you
feel good about it, but there's talk the Packers might be speaking to Ryan Tannehill. You know.
Yeah, so it's a tough thing for him. Now, as to our winner, you didn't really want to cover Kurt, but as I said, we're already going to be covering Tex for the Cumberbund match, and the other option was probably me, and you didn't want to heap praise on me either. So it was a matter of looking at Kurt's team, and Kurt's team's always interesting to look at because of his bizarre strategy. And has it paid off? Week 1, is it paying off?
Tragically, it has to be said that certainly through 1 week it is. I mean, Baker Mayfield, who he paid nothing for essentially in the draft, being one of the top scoring quarterbacks is, you know, I'm genuinely surprised that Kurt hasn't taken more of a victory lap on this. It would have taken a remarkable amount of restraint on his part not to cram that right down our collective gullets after copping a fair amount of shit on the night for once again kind of leaving all of the top and even second tier quarterbacks on the shelf through the early rounds. So good on you, Kurt. This looks good for you through 1 week. Let's see if it can continue.
The funny thing about it is, despite him taking those 3 elite wide receivers with his first 3 picks, those 3 elite wide receivers did not contribute substantively to his score, or collectively scoring about 30 points collectively. You know, so it's interesting that the scores then came from the smart pickups of a late round Ramondre Stevenson and Rashad White, who was left way longer than probably should have. He only scored a 13. It's mainly the kicker. But do we think he's going to do that every week? He actually pretty good last year. Deshaun Watson looked horrible though, but then he's got Sam Darnold to slot in, who actually looked okay.
Yep, this is a really upsetting situation for those of us who've had to endure for Kurt. You hate to see it. And honestly, I'd prefer if he went back to being a cunt about it. I don't like the new Kurt.
No, I would like Smug Father back. I don't particularly like Nice Guys Kurt's tour. Let's bring back the Smug Father, please. Okay. What is the next segment? It's the top comments. As per last year, I will be drawing out the best comments from the week. And calling out first is, look, I think he's on a bit of an apology tour after a poor end to the season. Matthew Brown failed to engage with the chat and the league and his team in any sense during the relegation finals. And the Bard was very, very displeased with this. I've seen a lot of good comments and chatter from MB2, just trying to show that he's worthy of remaining in the league and his value to it. But I thought these was quite good. He threw this one up of the touchdown, Tyreek Hill and Waddle then doing a pretend arrest as a touchdown celebration. And also the Ned Flanders reference with Daniel Jones and the traditional uniform they're wearing that makes it look like he's not wearing any pants.
I genuinely saw the Tyreek Hill touchdown celebration for the first time when he posted it, right? Because it wasn't shown on TV, so
he wasn't. No. Yeah, I watched that game. I didn't see that, and they got posted online. That's fantastic. So thank you, Matthew Brown. As usual, there was a number of situations of you criticizing Jono. There was a series of these. This was one about Jono talking about it being Jordan Mason's season.
Although it turns out he might be right.
he was right, as he later said.
Fucking hell, Jono.
He was very right about that one. He said that on the Friday. Stu should have been listening. And there was also a whole bunch about me bringing in the kicker named Jay Bates, and I won't go into that criticism. This one was a fun one where you were very annoyed at Sleeper's telling the commissioners to fix leagues and do manual changes. You're like, don't drag me into this. That was a fantastic comment. We got a couple from the Smug Father. One, this was, I think, a good comment of how's Rogers looking? Like he's been smoking hallucinogens all off season instead of working out with his receivers. And also a bit of return to form here from Smuggo. I think he can't not be the villain. Post this little GIF about which has Love and Puka, of course, both James's players, and then just throws in a little, I can't wait to watch Rogers play tomorrow. And of course, James also had Rogers, who Kurt was playing. So he was really just sticking in the knife with this post. I think he was trying to be subtle about how inflammatory this was to poor Coin, but it really was quite the knife in the guts. So I like that. But the comment of the week, the top comment has to go to this one from yourself, Bard, where you found a fantasy football advice, accidentally took 4 wide receivers with first 4 picks, trade advice, and you said found K9's K-Mo's Reddit account. That was the top comment. It was 8 days ago, but it was quality. Well done. Thanks. Okay, go to the next bit.
Oh shit. I have to go back into hiding for this segment.
Okay, so we've got the tabs been released, and the big spenders was the Isaiah Likely $75. Was this an error? What was going on here?
What do you mean? It was an overpay by $27. Mate, people in this league will throw away more than $27 worth of fab with nothing to return on this year. So don't come at me about that.
I think this is one game. I think this is one game where it went that way.
Well, that's understandable. That's obviously why you didn't bet us, put a single dollar in on him. It's a little bit speculative. I've been, most years I tend to get left behind the early waiver picks, and a lot of the time they work out all right. What I saw in that game was Isaiah Likely essentially being the number 1 wide receiver on the team. So if it's even like 70% as good as that some weeks, then I'll happily fork out plenty of cash to have a part of that.
Okay, well, we'll see. It comes out. Kurt invested $32 in Tank Bigsby. You were also willing to put $25 in on the Tank. He looked pretty good, and his route, he played almost as many snaps as Etienne.
Tyson should have been bidding on this. I don't know what he's doing. I think he's traveling, but Tyson, who's the SEN owner, absolutely should have been in on Tank Bixby.
Particularly, handcuffs are very valuable now that we're working out how the sleeper substitute works. A handcuff is probably the most realistic thing to use.
Yeah.
Madison, Kurt's going big. Kurt has spent a lot of fab this week. He was looking to. It looks like if he got everyone he wanted, he would have spent his entire $200 or something.
Oh wow!
That's a rough calculation, but we're already up to here. He would have spent almost 100. A lot of interest for Madison. Brown as the Zamir White owner probably should have gone a bit stronger. Madison did have good stats, but he was so horrible last year that how can you trust it? We also then have Lazard, which had a tied amount of votes. Kurt's got him for another $18 here that he could have got. I assume Brown was higher on the waiver order.
Yeah, that's also my assumption, which I think waiver priority, like tiebreaker priority, is probably based on where you were in the snake draft order, possibly.
Yeah, I think it is. So a rare occurrence there. And, look, I wouldn't say that Lazard's worth $18, but clearly the market is against me.
I mean, Rogers really liked him.
He's like, word is Garrett Wilson's not been happy with Rodgers' approach to preseason training. So I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron Rodgers is like, well, fuck you, Garrett Wilson. I'm just going to throw it to my old boy Lazar.
Hey.
Shaheed, $17.
This is bullshit. You want to talk about 1 week mirage, mate? How often are they going to get to play the Panthers?
Oh, look, for me, it was a factor of Rashid was a player I was interested in drafting, interested in picking up. Mooney, I also had that interest. I thought about swapping these before the week, and then it happened, and I'm like, oh, that's a guy that I wanted to have and I wanted to draft, and I didn't. And, Shaheed was in like none of the waiver wire articles because I think they just assume he's actually drafted in and owned in most leagues. But, it's a bench stash. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it for $17. I think there's a very reserved bid for me. This is a lot of money for a 1 week stream, in my view. $13.
The price of 1 week defensive streams tends to go up as the season goes on. This is what you'd expect to be paying normally around like week 12, week 13. But
yeah,
Kurt's setting the market early, I think.
And look, Tex was right there with $9, and both of these guys drafted pretty elite defenses. I think one has.
I mean, it's an absolutely tantalizing matchup for them this week. Right.
Now, James's only waiver claim, despite being in probably the player that needs to manage and fix his team the most, he put in one waiver claim and wasted $16. To his defense, there was a bit of chatter about Demarcus Robinson, and he is a handcuff situation to Puka potentially.
Yeah, I think as the Puka run, I think it makes perfect sense to be picking him up.
I think, and the price isn't wrong. I think it's just he probably expected someone else to maybe make a bid or two. It's probably fine.
Yeah.
And then a couple of freebies, $3 for the Colts, $3 for Parkinson, $2 for Cooks. And you got a kicker for free. The best kicker of the week, one of the better kickers of the week. So good for you. We go into the next segment.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
We got some belts out here.
Yeah.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Right. Stuart hasn't held the belt since week 11, 2018. It's been a long 6 years. He's only ever held it for a cumulative total of 4 weeks, whereas Tex is the equal first cumulative holder at 24 weeks and equal second number of reigns at 8. So I would predict that Tex will not have to find the belt for another week because I feel like once again, sadly, Stu's not managed to put together a particularly great team. And once again, Tex has a very, very strong team, obviously. If we look at their teams, starting with the matchup here, we've already, McCaffrey might be back. But
no, they basically already said he's not.
And A-Chain's not playing this week either. No way. He didn't practice all week.
My prediction...
Stu, go pick up Jeff Wilson Jr., mate. You need Jeff Wilson Jr.
My prediction is that Stu's going to win.
With what? Okay, so...
I don't need to explain or justify this.
Sure, fine, whatever, that's fine. Look how it's working out for Tex. You say it's all wild Fadley for James, but look, Tex has got obviously Josh Allen. Taylor's looking good. Walker got injured though, but apparently it's okay. He's got Cooper Kupp in the Puka side of the injury, so Cooper Kupp looked good. It's going to continue to look good. Ford's looking great. You're making a bet on Andrews. You do have the two best kickers in the world here with Moody and Aubrey. Kelsey, look, Stu's team isn't horrible. And
Stu will win this matchup, and Tex will be in full scramble mode to find that belt. That's my prediction.
I feel like that's one of the few people that Tex would actually really want to get the belt to.
Yeah, I think he would.
Yeah, like if I beat him, I don't think he'd be that interested. I'd say from a bench point of view, looking at these teams, Stu's bench is not amazing. But I think that's the case across the board. Like no one's bench was really going off this week. It was just a tough week for fantasy.
Yeah, it was a low scoring week. It was a bit of a weird one, certainly on my fucking team.
Okay, so your prediction is Stu's going to win. Look, I think Tex is going to be pretty comfortable here, so we'll have to see. We'll do a running tally of the year once we get through it. And now I get to the... All right, so I'm going to be ranking the league team names as they currently stand. I've actually ranked 14 teams because Jono, in true Jono form, has already gone through 3 team names at this point. I'll be ranking them worst to best. And I just want to flag something up front. Despite running with it this year as trying to be a bit of a good sport about it, I'm not a huge fan of the player pun name, team name thing. I know it's a fantasy football staple. I'm not the hugest fan of it, but look, I do appreciate its value, so it'll be factored in.
It just makes me, when you do it, it makes me think that you got your fantasy team name from a clickbait article.
Yeah, I think that's fair. So number 14, Jono's first submission, it hurts to Dicker Pits.
What are you, 9? Jono?
But my original response to this was, Jesus Christ. Like, what?
Grown man, Jono.
Yeah, look, he did change it pretty quickly, but Jono, what the fuck? That's my least favorite team name, where you combine a bunch of player names into a stupid sentence. Least favorite. Number 13 is Jono's next effort, where he just took he got 3 guys' names on his team who all have similar sounding names. And I feel this is a little bit racist.
I bet he's about to jump in the comments and tell you that it's like a deep cut reference to some TV show.
It feels racist. Like all the black guys have same names, right? Is that what we're going for here?
Jono, why are you so racist?
At number 14, I have Jarrett's Imhotep St. Brown, which I feel is at best culturally insensitive. Because it's not like Amun-Ra was the name of the mummy in the Mummy, or which is where the Imhotep obviously references, and he's got a picture of the mummy. So it just seems like he's combining 2 random Egyptian concepts, as in Amun-Ra's name and the mummy's name, to something that I'm labeling as culturally insensitive.
You're wasting your time. He doesn't watch this show.
It's also a shit name. Another Stu's effort with a young Charbonnet. I don't sort of get the pun. Like, is wine sometimes young? Is Chardonnay young? I tried to Google it.
Yeah, I think that's what he's going for.
But I don't think that's how you describe white wine. And I even tried to Google it to check.
I don't know.
Could have gone with wooded Chardonnay. Even could have picked up Robert Woods or something. Anyway. Next is Turn Your Head and Golf from Tex. It took me a while to figure out exactly what this was supposed to be, and I assumed it was cough. Turn your head and cough.
Is that not what it is?
Is that what it is? I don't know.
I assume so. Either way, it sucks, Tex. Can't something better.
Maybe in the times of COVID, it would have been a good one. Like, coughing.
No, it's like it's something they used to tell you to do in like when you're doing your physical when you're going into the army.
Oh yeah. I think you could do better. Love Thy Neighbours is probably the best of these series, but I feel like James probably got that off a clickbait article.
It's okay, but he didn't come up with it himself.
Then I've got my Running Up That Hill. Yeah, whatever. However, it did lead to number 7, which I think was the best of Jono's team names, where he changed his team name briefly to Waddling Up That Hill, which I thought was a funny little reference and reminded me of that time when Texas team was called Heartline Bling after the legendary Dolphins wide receiver Brian Hartline, and the Drake song, which was big at the time before Drake busted out into our collective mindset, Hotline Bling. And then as the season went on, almost every coach changed their name to some version of Hotline Bling or Drake-related puns. And I thought this was a good throwback to that.
It reminded me of Jono waddling because he's slow.
Okay, at number 6, I've got my Homelander, a bit of a reference to the boys from
Don't mind that. Yeah.
Don't mind it.
Yeah.
Here's to you, Bijan Robinson. I actually like. I don't want to like it, but I do. I like it every time I see it. I sing the song every time I see it, and I loved the creativity he's had to put in to get all of that in there. The and symbol, the 2U. It's like it's a song from like 2003 where you've got 2U, like a Fall Out Boy song or something. But I really like the effort he's gone there with that one.
Yeah, I mean, I assume that he was limited on character space for fitting this name in, but yeah, good work. This was Roman, right?
Yeah, he was so committed. Yeah, it was Andrew. Sorry, it was so committed that he, made it work even with the character limitations. At 4, I have the Arc Tour from Maddie Brown. Very topical, very relevant. The best one I think you could have from this, and I've seen it around, is if you drafted Tour and and then you could be Hawk Tour perfectly. But I like the way he's made it sort of work with Eek.
By the way, there's like at least 3 different people in the Salisbury area who've gotten custom number plates with some version of this meme on it. And I don't know how long you have to have those things for when you're forked out for it, but I mean, how long is this cultural touch point going to be relevant? It's like getting a tattoo of a meme that was popular for a week.
Tyson's had this team name since he joined the league. I think it's great. Toe drag swag. I think it's got a cool vibe. And I like the commitment to the team name. I like that. I think everyone should have a longer commitment to their team names. And I don't really love the changing it every year, even though I've done it this year. And number 2, the one thing I'd love more than that is the league nicknames and people embracing the league nicknames. So Quadfather's just Quadfather. He doesn't need a team name. He just has his league nickname in there, and I like that.
Respect.
Which is number 1 is, once again, Bard Knox. It is the ultimate combination of your league nickname, a football reference. The only way it could be better is if you drafted Dawson Knox and spelled it with an X.
Oh. All right, whoever has Dawson Knox, please engage me in trade talks.
I'm pretty sure he's on the free agency pool at the moment.
I mean, this is a bit of a suck up. You should not have put mine at number 1 spot, but
it's not a suck up. I think it's the best. I highly rate this team name, and I always have.
Do you not get marked down for just being lazy and not changing your team name between seasons? Because that's all it is.
I would rather we all have the same team names forever as the rest of our lives. If I could make everyone do that, I would.
Wow.
But I can't. So I have to live with this.
You're not going to do this every week, are you? This rank maker thing, are you?
No, this came with a good idea.
You can rank different things, but I mean, the team name thing, you're going to run out pretty soon.
Oh, no, this is
going to be like, there's going to be 12 different names that Jono came up with during the week.
Yeah. Well, look, at one point I might do one about Jono's 14 team names for the year, and I can rank them. But like, no, we're done with the team names.
Rank them all and then send them directly into the sun.
Okay, so the final part of our show for this week, and last year we did the league, who's who in the league, and everyone was assigned their particular characters. This year I will be assigning Ruthless Aggression Era, which is the WWE from 2002 to 2008, entrance music to each person in the league. And it's not necessarily about the wrestler and their character. Sometimes there's a factor in that, but it's more about finding a piece of music, because this is when they started all having lyrics in their music, the lyrics in the entrance music that really suited the particular coach. So that coach could walk out to that music realistically in our league because it speaks to them lyrically. So I'm going to do myself first, and I'll be putting on the video. I should be able to bring it into this process, this thing. I've just loaded it up. This will be my entrance music for this purpose.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. Ching, ching, bling, bling. Chatter, chatter. You ain't talking money, then your talking don't matter. Ching, ching, bling, bling. Patent pockets. You take the dollar, dollar. Can a damn soul stop it? Here comes the new kid on the block. Hold on, your bets. Here's where the buck stops. See, first of all, I'm stepping out on my own. About time I elevated to claim my own throne. Success in my blood, call it homegrown. Puerto Rican testosterone. Power and money got me crazy cocky. No longer need you, poppy. I know you're mad because you can't stop me. And if you wonder how this player done scooped your honey, I think she smell my cologne. It's called brand new money. Making major moves, man, ain't a damn thing funny. Pimpin' hood rats to Playboy bunnies. They see the. They see it. They see it.
Money, 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 money. Here comes the money.
I thought about doing something similar on draft night, but I was too lazy to see it through to completion. So I'm glad that you've picked up the mantle.
I will, and then you have it for next year. You have everyone's entrance music that you can play for their particular draft pick process.
Yeah. Good work.
Well, sorry, you go.
Good work. I like it.
Thank you. Thank you for everyone that watched live. There were 2 of you and none of you commented. You can comment on the YouTube. We want to see those comments. We want to see Stu the Boomer writing YouTube using his comments because he doesn't have an official YouTube account. Come on, Boomer Stu. Bring it in. Good luck to everyone this week. It's going to be an exciting week, I'm sure. I'm sure it'll be better for the Bard. We'll see how it goes. Thank you for tuning in, and I will finish it off with our piece of music.
Bye, everybody.
Actually, I should time it like this.